are live on YouTube after a 3-day hiatus. It
Guess
feels.
who's back?
Good afternoon, amigos, from
A swell location.
hint number one, Hola Lana. We are back in Mexico and it feels.
It feels so good. I feel like we have been gone from Mexico for years and years, even though it's been just over a week.
It feels
We
like we.
missed you all.
Thank you everybody for jumping on. We'll answer your questions here in a few minutes. It feels like we were off of YouTube for
Years.
way too long. I don't know. We've never taken more than one day off consecutive. I don't think. But we didn't have Wi-Fi. We were with
Yes.
family, and it just kind of worked out to where we took a few days off. So I'm sorry to disappoint all of you.
Yes.
Let's do some shout outs. Lori, thank you for jumping on. We missed you as well. Raphael. Hello world, hello Carlos, Jose, Cristina, Cis,
Frank.
Frank,
Rocco.
Maria, PZZ, MZZ, Raka,
Before we go
Roman.
too far, I want to tell you guys I have a timer going on my phone because today we are giving lots of clues and hints as to where we are in Mexico right now, just for fun, not for
Yes.
anything more. Kinetic Kennons points if you want.
Yeah, so over the last few days, we spent time with family. Hillary's grandma turned 90.
That is an incredible feat in and of itself. It was so special. It was a surprise party for
Yeah.
Nana. I don't think she
Jessica, thanks for jumping
expected
on.
it at all. And Jess. And it was a lot of fun. We spent a lot of good time with family and didn't have the camera with us, which
Yeah.
was refreshing, but at the same time, we kind of felt like we have so much to film.
We have 3 minutes until the next clue as to where we are. If you are watching this live, we're going to give clues every 5 minutes. If you're watching this on replay, we're going to give clues every 5 minutes. I guess it's the same.
But you've already missed one if you're hopping on here now.
What is one thing you miss? What's one thing you missed when we were in Texas from Mexico?
I think I missed the pace. So a lot of time in the States was spent running errands, dropping things off, and I feel like, at least for Greg and I, here in Mexico, we just do that. It's not usually a whole day thing. If we have errands, so to speak, so I guess all of that ties into the pace of life, which I feel like I say all the time, but I think the pace of life for us is what really makes the day-to-day different.
I think so. I think for me, what I told my dad, thanks for jumping on A1 uh, Abdon. Thank you all for jumping on. Jane Berryman in the house. The thing I miss, which goes in hand with what Hillary said, is just the ability to walk places. And I think we were in the States, like at my mom's house. Everything is about 20 minutes away, which really isn't too bad. I mean, but everything's a 20-minute car ride away.
Yeah.
And it just feels, I don't know, it just feels different. Walking 20 minutes to get somewhere versus sitting in your car 20 minutes to get somewhere.
But then even when you get somewhere, like if you're at a mall or a grocery store, you still have to walk kind of far. So it is a weird.
And I think part of that, which I spoke with Jessica and Luke, my brother and sister-in-law, about, they just got home from Poland, is I think you have less interactions when you're driving. When you're walking down the street, you know, walk past people walk past you, you bump into somebody, you see people that you know, and I think it's a more communal feeling, if you will, versus just getting in your car and you don't talk to anybody, you just hear the radio and yeah.
That's it. Yeah, I think that's how my parents always talk about sharing sugar with neighbors and things like that. And I feel like this is how the States was a while back. So.
Yes. So we had fun in Texas. We don't. Whoops, I'm moving our camera here. We don't film much when we go back, but that's just.
We're refreshed and ready to go.
We're refreshed and ready to go. 45 seconds to our next question.
You mean hint?
To our next hint. My bad. Someone asked us a question. Give us some time. Alejandra, thank you for jumping on. Alfred.
When will they get married?
When will we get married?
Well, what? Just kidding. We've been married
4.5 years ago. Yeah, we are married. We got married in 4.5 years ago. I can't remember whatever year that was. We have
January.
Watch our video of our love story if we have those questions, if you will. But we've known each other almost 8 years, or past 8 years now.
Just about 8 years.
Yeah, so it's been a while, and it's also time for our clue. What is our clue?
Time for a clue.
What is our clue?
Let's see. Our next clue is.
We are not in a state capital.
We're not?
I don't think so.
We don't really know our capitals so well, but we think we're not in one.
We are not in a state capital. Doris, you're right. There's a lot of things we don't talk about on our channel, though.
Yeah, religion and politics happen to be too.
Try to stay away from those, even though everybody has strongly held opinions, and we try and respect everybody's, and we hope people
You're
respect
very
ours.
handsome, Greg.
Oh, thank you.
I think so too.
Thank you.
Sorry, guys. He's married.
Kevin, where are we now? You're gonna have to watch it on replay to get a few few clues. I'm pretty excited about our next few videos.
Me too.
Tomorrow's video should be posted at 3 p.m. We're gonna get back on our schedule. We're not gonna miss any more days again for a while. Knock on wood. We just had to take some time off. Thank you, Brian, for the nice comment about the love story video.
Our amigo Caesar Salad says
Caesar.
100K equals 3 pitas taco.
Shout out to Julia, my niece, my favorite niece.
Oh yeah, 'cause she's the only one.
Julia's my favorite niece. Oscar. You saw
us land in Costa Rica? What?
Whoa, that is trippy.
Well, I'll throw in an extra hint. We're in the country of Mexico.
And we did not fly to Costa Rica to get here, but that's pretty trippy if you saw us there.
That would be really weird.
What can we talk about in between our clues, or what can you ask us that we can? I feel like a long time since we've chatted with you.
I know, someone said Zach said he was worried about us. We had a couple emails asking about if we were okay because we've been MIA on YouTube.
Yeah.
But we really just decided it was sort of like a social media or like electronic break for us is weird, and I don't really like to do it. However, we were with family. We didn't have Wi-Fi there, and it was good to spend some quality time with our family without feeling like we needed to film or edit.
Yeah.
So pardon us for spending a few days without keeping in touch with you guys.
What's up, Laura? Thanks for jumping on. There seem to be a lot of questions about if we're having a kid, had a kid. When are we having kids?
Yeah, that's what I was doing the last 3 days.
That's why we took a break. Just popped out a baby. No, we don't have any plans to have kids right now. That's not really in our immediate future. However, I will say, just to keep us and everybody else on their toes, we don't have a place to live like after the next few days. So long-term planning for us is not our strong suit. So we're definitely not ruling out kids. But I also say Hillary's not pregnant. She's not planning on getting pregnant, and no one appreciates comments about being pregnant until you see the baby out of the body. It's generally not okay to say someone's pregnant. But all that said, no, we love kids. We love our nieces, nephews, our sisters. Well, your sisters aren't kids.
Yeah.
One of my sisters is kind of a kid. We love kids, but we don't have them. We're not planning on having them. That was a long answer to that short question.
No prego question, but I have a question. Shoot.
Spanish, please.
I love that you guys are living in the present. Here's the thing. I feel like you guys find out where we're going to live when we find out where we're going to live.
Yes. Are you in the north, south, center of the country, Hector? That's a good question, because every place we go, I feel like we always say it's the wrong.
What about the east or the west?
What is Oaxaca considered? And
you're not supposed to tell him. Kidding. Joke's on you guys, but it almost was on him.
Like Puerto Escondido. When you're in Puerto Escondido, what do you say? Because I think for us, when I think of the ocean, I always think Well, when I think of the Pacific, I always think West Coast, just because in the United States, that's just what's like ingrained in our brains.
Yeah.
But Mexico's shape's so weird. I had to look at the map the other day. Mexico City and Cancun are on the same latitude.
Uh-huh.
That tripped me out. I thought Cancun was for sure more south, but it's not.
But it's not. Yeah.
It is time, almost time. Southwest, south. Those seem to be the questions we are getting.
It's almost time for the next clue. Now.
That's what I was trying to read. Donna West, I know you love.
We are in a town with mountains.
We are giving clues every 5 minutes. We're in a town with mountains. We've given 2 clues so far as to where we are. If you've missed those, you'll have to rewatch the replay of this video.
We're just doing this for fun. We'll go ahead and throw out 72 kinetic Kennons points.
72 kinetic Kennons points.
You're in Monterey. Here's another freebie. We are not in Monterey.
Man, you're giving out a lot of...
Sorry. What was the other one? Costa Rica.
We're not in Monterrey. We're not in Costa Rica. No more freebie clues.
Okay, sorry.
Hi, Michelle. Thanks for jumping on. Thanks for everybody for watching our videos, for putting up with us, for commenting, for liking, for our Patreons, for the I Love Mexico group, Instagram, Twitter. I don't know. We appreciate you all.
Yes.
And is it a desert or not?
Not gonna answer. Whoa.
I'm loving all
funny.
of the clues though. What didn't you miss
about Mexico?
Christina Rodriguez. Excellent question.
Oh,
what didn't you miss about Mexico?
The lack of family.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a legitimate.
But then I feel like our friends. It's weird because I feel like you guys are more of our family in Mexico.
Yeah, I think Hillary said something earlier. I think when we're. This is like a 2-part thing. When we're in the United States, I think we're used to. It feels like everything is at your fingertips. Like, you can literally order something on Amazon and it be there the same day. And I know maybe some places in Mexico you can do that. Maybe Mexico City, or you can order things on Amazon. Amazon exists here. We understand that. But it just feels like maybe our familiarity.
Familiarity?
I can't speak English.
I can't either.
With how to shop and where to shop, it just feels everything is convenient. Now that convenience comes at a cost of headache, money, and you start becoming a slave to that convenience. But I think whenever we're there, I think we realize that we miss that convenience. But then after like 2 or 3 days, we also realize how sometimes that is not a good thing as well.
I think it can be good or bad. I think like for things like we needed a picture printed, and for some reason like everything that I would know how to handle in the States, like getting a picture printed or something that you don't do very often, like eating, we're good. But things that you don't do very often, I feel like sometimes for us are more challenging in Mexico, and I think that's entirely because this is not our home country. I think those of you who were born in Mexico know exactly where to go and how to get a picture printed at Staples or Office Depot. But for us, it's something we didn't even do that often in the States, and so it's in our second language to start with, and they just work a little differently here. So.
Right. David has a great question. Are you in Mexico or in the USA at this moment? We are in Mexico, and to expand on what they were saying, when we first moved here, everything was hard. Anything and everything, ordering food.
Especially ordering, I feel like getting anything at the market, like paying for meat,
but
getting
now,
meat.
Especially as our language skills improve, things are getting easier. We're understanding where things are bought and sold. But still, there's just still random things that aren't as easy, and that's on us. That's not necessarily on Mexico.
But we're getting there. It's going to take a little time, but we're doing the best we can. Someone asked if we see ourselves as minimalists. This is interesting because yesterday, for the first time on our flights, we flew with the least amount of stuff we've ever had. So we each have one suitcase that's right at 50 pounds, and we each have a backpack, and that is all that we have. So, and our camera. So I don't know, because I don't feel like a minimalist, but if you think about that, that's all that we have. I feel like to a lot of people, I don't know. I would have to meet a minimalist, an actual person who actually sees themselves and views the world as a minimalist from a minimalist perspective.
Yeah.
And
I think we are.
Ask them about their ways. I don't feel like I'm a minimalist in like ecological terms. Like I don't feel like I'm leaving a minimal footprint on the earth.
Yeah.
But in terms of the stuff that we own, I'm gonna go with yeah.
Yeah, I think it's slowly developing. Timer. Connie, that is how I'm learning Spanish, actually watching Netflix with subtitles. Someone asked, why did we come back? If you're referring to why we went back to the United States, it was to see family. If you're referring to why we came back to Mexico, it's our home. I mean, this is where we live. Yeah. And you had a follow-up question, will you ever get to the point where you make videos in Spanish only? That's something like I've tossed back and forth. I don't think not on the Kinetic Kennons channel. Maybe one day on a different Kinetic Kennons channel, but definitely not daily. I don't know. That's a good question. Clue.
The next clue. You want to say it or you want me to say it?
You got it.
Okay. It is very, very hot where we're at right now. We're just hoping we don't have to call the fire department for the second time in Mexico.
Interesting. If you're jumping,
it's hot though, cold. Okay.
She is wearing a sweater, so I don't know if she's trying to throw people off or what. If you've missed some of the other clues that we've given, 3 or 4 other ones, you have to rewatch it on the replay. That's what it's called.
Must be the North.
John is hungry.
Always.
Lots of guesses.
Ooh, can I give an extra clue?
Do the rooms really not have AC? That's a great question. Most don't. It really depends on where you're at, what region of Mexico, what city in Mexico, and Querétaro.
I would say that depends,
but I would say the default is probably going to be no, and it's like an extra if they do. Like if you're searching on Airbnb and you put in with AC, more than half the places will disappear, right?
I think so.
But
in central Mexico, for sure.
It depends on what city. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I think hotels seem to a lot of times have air conditioners, even if like Airbnb or like apartment rentals don't. But it really just depends.
And most like restaurants and places like that probably are not going to have AC as well. So when we've talked about the weather before. That's I don't know. Interesting question. Did Goyo study something related to photography? Asked because of the amazing footage he brings on each video. Thank you so much, Gonzalez Rodriguez. I actually did not study anything related to photography or videography, filmography, or anything like that. This is all on the job. If you watch our first few videos, or if you watch our first 200 or 300 videos, they're really not that good.
I think they're good.
And the ones we're making now, I mean, our hope is to each one get better.
Yeah, I think a few years from now we'll look back at our videos now.
Do CrossFit, representing CrossFit Zapata.
In Vallarta.
We do not study. It just doesn't really make sense for us to have a gym membership, so it's either like when we're in Texas, I have some kettlebells and I was doing stuff there. Whenever we were in the place we are now, we have a gym when like at our condo or whatever. So I mean, in like other places, I just go for a run.
Right. It sort of depends, but we have to get creative. Ever hurt yourselves doing CrossFit? That's another funny question. I did hurt my neck like the first week ever at CrossFit. I tore some ligaments or injured some ligaments in my neck and had to wear a neck brace. That was when we were in Vallarta, and it was insanely hot, and I had to wear it for 10 days, and I thought it was over.
Yeah, but nothing crazy. No. Daniel has a good question. You guys ever have digestive issues when you travel back to Mexico? I tend to when I go. Funny enough, I felt like my stomach was more upset going back to the U.S. than it ever is. But I mean, we spend 95% of our time in Mexico, so we're pretty used to tacos and all that stuff.
Yeah, and I think here the food is actually a lot different. So if you go to a restaurant, chances are you're going to see the person, you're going to see all cooking the food, you're going to see all of the ingredients. So it's different than the typical chain restaurant in the States. So I'm going to go with no. The main time we've been sick in Mexico has been from Domino's Pizza.
Yes. But I think anytime you're switching countries, I mean, the food's just going to be different, so it's somewhat understandable. Yeah, have some digestive issues
They say
here.
we got tough tummies. Someone asks if, last clue time, but let me answer this question. Sorry.
Maybe.
Someone asked if we would like to eat tlayudas.
Like,
yes.
ever? Or?
From Oaxaca. Like, would you eat one?
Oh my gosh.
Would we ever eat one indeed?
We have a Oaxaca playlist. If you're ever wondering if we've done something, if we've eaten something, we have a playlist for every place that we've been before. So check that. We probably made 2 or 3 Tlayuda videos. We absolutely love those things. Hill, what's our clue?
The last clue is to check Instagram at Kinetic Kennons for our last clue today. I think that's it. That's all the clues
I think that's the last clue for this. Did you miss mole? Jacqueline asked. Yes, of course. That's my favorite Mexican food, so I did miss mole.
Loretta loves to eat. She's always eating more than Goyo. I don't know about that.
Let's see.
I try.
We did not have the chance to try Cabrito in Monterrey, unfortunately.
No.
I thought I saw it going up here. Do more cable guy, toothless southerner, aka Billy. If you had to settle in Mexico, where would it be? Good question, Mauricio. That's super hard. I think my first reaction says Mexico City. I say that because it's literally like in the center of the country. It has the airport and the bus system. So for what we do, we can easily travel to other places. Yeah. We could live in a different place. Well, let's say we're settling down. We live in one neighborhood, Mexico City. There's just something always happening there. Thank you so much, Norman.
Oh, thank you, Norman.
How fluent is your Spanish compared to when you first went to Mexico? Whoa.
Oh my gosh, that's like night and day. I think Greg has come a little bit further than I have, but that is not that is based a lot on Greg's effort. It's most important, I think, to be extremely outgoing and to face your fear of sounding a little different, having a different accent. So I would say, I always tell Greg he is fluent. When people ask him if he speaks Spanish, he says kind of or a little. I think Greg is completely fluent. I'm still working on it. I will get there one day. I'm determined to get there one day. Baby steps. Every time I speak Spanish, I get a little more confident. So it's still a work in progress. Someone said, how do you finance your travels? How can we all help? That's a great question. Simply by watching our videos, that helps a ton. Yep. Commenting sends us encouragement and support that way.
And helps engagement. It helps YouTube know to show the video more.
Yeah. We also have a Facebook account. Kinetic Kennons is our page. We have I Love Mexico group.
Yes.
We're on Instagram, Twitter, and we also have a Patreon page, which is set up as a once a month, sort of like a Netflix subscription sort of thing. So you can choose to contribute to our efforts on that Patreon page. I believe it's patreon.com/kinetickennons. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
And
thank you for asking that.
Excellent question. Also, Manuel, send us an email and we'll help you with some Dallas recommendations and let us know kind of where you're at. Send us an email and Hillary will help you out. How long do you see yourselves doing this job, traveling throughout Mexico and showing your face, whatever? I don't know. I don't know. A while.
I think we will do this as long as we are having fun and feeling as if, on a tiny scale, we are bringing value to the world. And at this point, both of those things go on and continue into the foreseeable future for us. So
yeah, as long as we're having fun, as long as you're having fun. I think what we do and the way we do it and where we're at will evolve over time. But this is.
There's just so much of Mexico left for us to discover, for you guys to discover with us, for you to help us discover. So I feel like that's a really tough question.
Are you, Adrian, are you guys looking forward to September 16th?
We have been talking about Independence Day for months now. We don't know where we're going to be, but we've been talking about it, and wherever we'll be, let's just say there'll be a party. It might end at 10 p.m., but we'll be there.
I think that's about all we have.
Yeah.
Thank you all for jumping on here. If you missed any of the clues, or if you're not, or if you're,
you're clueless. This is why I make corny jokes.
You'll have to rewatch the replay. We did one every 5 minutes, so I don't know.
I think that's it. Thank you guys for hopping on here. Thank you for all of the wonderful guesses. I believe you all will find out tomorrow, for those of you who guessed wrong.
That will be at 3 p.m. tomorrow. We will be posting
our first video
from where from where we're at. We appreciate you all. Someone asked about Patreon. That is patreon.com/KineticKennons. That is like the main way we get our support and are able to continue doing what we're doing and
yes. Thank you guys. See you tomorrow on the
I don't know how to work YouTube. And no.